Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet, and welcome to spooky season. So we're going to start off pretty simple here with a little bat. I don't expect this to take very long, so we do have another spooky project lined up as well. I'm going to start with the ears here. Once again, I did not make this pattern, just using it. Of course, I will have the pattern listed in the description. Now, these are very cute bats to me, but most bats are. A lot of people have issues with bats, specifically like the vampire bats. Those bats aren't very common. There aren't very many of those, species-wise. There's quite a few more like fruit bats or bats that eat mainly insects. And those ones are all pretty cute. Now the pattern for this did not include any kind of stripes. I just did color changes as I felt like it. Just kind of continuing the stained glass animals. I'm just gonna go through a couple stitches here just to kind of give the ear a little more dimension. Kind of makes it curl in like that a little bit. A lot of your shaping with these projects happens while you're sewing them together. There's one ear, so we're going to go ahead and make our little knot. And as always, hide our string. And snip snip. Alright, so there's one ear attached. Now I always struggle to get these to look even. So this next ear is probably going to look a little different. We're going to try our best. The wings out of the way here. Now this pattern is really easy and really fun to make. The body is all one piece, not multiple parts that you have to stitch together. Then after that you make two wing parts and two ears. And we stitch those on. And the body can be adapted to make a snowman if you wanted to, or butterfly base. Does not have to be a bat. You definitely use the pattern of a base or something else if you wanted. The other ear. And try to replicate that little curl. Not quite the same. Pretty close. I think we need that pin anymore. We are doing a very early morning recording. I am actually recording this before I start work today. My current schedule is no longer early morning to early afternoon. It is mid-morning to mid-afternoon or evening even. 8 to 4 instead of 6 to 2. And we just made our little knots. We're going to go ahead and snip. We hid the string there. And now we've got the ears attached. And they're not perfect, but that's okay. They don't need to be. I'm going to turn them around. Now we're going to attach the wings. Now I've got the wings positioned so that they kind of match up with each other and the stripes on the body. Now I'm actually going to tie our strings a little bit. The reason for that is so that the bottom of the wings is nice and tight together. And get rid of that string, that pin, and they don't go anywhere. Now for this bottom stripe that is just black yarn, we're going to take our black string here and just kind of weave it through like we normally would. But for a rainbow stripe, we're going to do a little more of an invisible stitch. We're going to go on the inside there. And then when we get to our black stripe, we'll do that. But now that we've gotten through, we're now at the separation, so I don't have to worry about that too much. We can just stitch directly to the body. Now when I do with the next string, I'm going to stitch this lower portion to the body more. Now we are going to see the stitches a little bit more on these stripes. I hit everything. That's okay. Now as I get to essentially the shoulder here, I'm actually going to bring it around to the front of the bat. And we're just going to stitch down the body a little bit. This makes it a little more secure and helps the wing hold its shape open without any kind of wires. Now these wings are actually started out by making a very large flat circle. Then you fold them in half and stitch the edges together. Which I think looks pretty cool. I'm really quite happy with how the stripes on this one turned out. Alright, so we have reached our end here essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and make our little knot with this string. And then we can hide our string. And snip, snip. Oops, dropping things. Right, so now we've got our one bat wing. You can see it holds its position a little bit better than the one that's pinned. Now we can work on the other side. So we don't really need to worry about sewing the edges together as much on this side, since we did that with the last one. So we can just kind of stitch it to the body in those areas. These angles make me very happy that I'm using a needle that has a little bend in the front. And now we can start drawing up the side. I don't think any of this pin is kind of in the way. And again, as we get to this shoulder, we're going to start braiding our stitches around the front. I have this little bit right here. Now, this isn't really a good angle for me, so we are going to kind of have to hold it in a weird way. Alright, and that brings us to the end of our back. We can go ahead and make our little knot. Hide our string. And snip, snip. Here's our little bat. Pump him up again because I kind of flattened him. Now I also sometimes like to take some white stuffing or wool, just make some little triangles for little fangs here on the face. As you can see, the ears are not completely even. This one's a little lower than this one. That's okay. He's still very cute, and honestly, if you weren't staring too hard, you probably wouldn't notice it. This is the front of our bat. This is the back of our bat. Full stained glass bat. He's going to go up here. Now the next one may require a little bit of a trigger warning. It is a spider. You can't have spooky season without your spider. But he's a very cute spider. So maybe it'll be okay. We're going to take all the little legs off here, because we're just going to work on the back. Now, I either did this pattern a little bit wrong, or it's just because I used different types of yarn. But I did have to make some adjustments to the underside of the abdomen here to make it work. But that's where we're going to start. We're going to try go around and then go up that little seam there. As you can see, I need new pins because almost all of mine are bent. And it's not from sewing machines, it's just from me using them on stuffed animals with weird shapes. But all of my pins stayed in the projects during the move, which is kind of entertaining. I made this in Arizona, pinned it together, and then put it in a box. or moving. Now this one does have a lot of little parts to it, because we have 8 legs, and then the body, so 9 parts. This one may take a little longer, so we may have to continue this in the next video, but we'll see. This part is the one that's going to take the longest, since we have to go all the way around and then back up. But the little legs are just repetitive, really. They don't take very much to attach them. Again, I did not make this pattern. I will put credit to the artist, the maker of this pattern, in the description below, so you can find them. This is a very cute take on tarantulas, which tarantulas in general are pretty cute, in my opinion, for spiders. Obviously, the jumping spider is the cutest spider. Tarantulas can be pretty cute too. Not all of them, some of them are kind of scary looking, I'll admit. But this one also kind of continues the rainbow stained glass look. I did not bother with any kind of color changes on the legs, just because of the way the legs work. They are a bit odd, so they just stayed just a flat black. Nothing crazy. I didn't want to do them in all rainbow, since they made the body all rainbow. I figured that might be a little much. And as I've learned with working with these yarns, less is more. The gentle gradient of the body works nicely. Everything else. Alright, so now we've made it to where we need to stitch seam. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Start working on that seam. Don't need these anymore. So we got that initial stitch done. Now, if I cared enough, I would probably see about doing rainbow yarn to stitch together the rainbow stripes. That sounds like a lot of work. And honestly, this is the underside of the spider, and you can barely see the stitch I just made. So it's fine. Now I am tempted to leave the string out for this one, since we are working our way towards the end of the abdomen. However, I will still hide the string, because if I do not, then I will be tempted to make a web, and if I'm going to make a web for it, I want to do it in the glow in the dark yarn that I have. I don't have very much of that. And I have a different project that uses glow in the dark yarn. So I will refrain from doing that. That is an idea. If you make these little spiders, you can use their anatomy, make them hangable. You can like attach them to stuff, like maybe a Halloween mobile, or just hanging off the wall as an additional decoration. Whatever suits your fancy. Alright, as we get to this last stripe here, we do get to our final stitch. That nice and tight. And then we're going to go ahead and make our little knot. And hide our string. And snip, snip. Alright, now the fun part. We have 8 legs to attach. Now all of the legs are identical. We're gonna just kind of use this like orangey brown ring as our little. I'm just gonna put a single one there. Just kind of lightly hold it in place while I get my thread on. I'm gonna rotate it so that it's more back. This is a back. I'm kind of gonna work on it like it's a mirror. So once I get one side attached, one leg on one side attached, we'll go to the other side. Just kind of match it up with that leg. All right. That is one leg, so we're going to go ahead and make our little knot. And hide our string. Try to hide our string in a way that doesn't take out very much stuffing, which is more difficult than I feel like it should be. Alright, and now we're going to take another leg. Do this one because it kind of yeeted itself at me. We're going to make sure that our little foot is at the bottom. And once again, we're going to pin it very lightly where I want it, or at least where I think I want it. Kind of matched up with that leg. So now this looks like a really weird ant taking shape. But we are just looking at the bottom of the spooder. Speaking of spiders, during the move, we found a red widow. If you did not know, there are a few different types of widows for spiders. There's the ever infamous black widow. There are also brown widows, which are not brown recluses. They are still widows. Brown recluses are something different. They are still spiders, but they are a different kind of spider. And then we have red widows, which have a little white marking on the underside instead of red because the rest of them is red. And they are rather small, or at least the one that I have is rather small. She's very pretty though. She seems to be a picky eater though. I threw a moth in with the little container that I have her in because she's probably invasive to Missouri from Arizona. And she just kind of traveled with me on accident. I'm keeping her. But I threw a moth in there in her little jar, and she didn't eat it. I don't know if maybe it was too big or she's just picky. But I'm going to try and catch or buy some fruit flies for her. But I'm also going to probably move her into a different terrarium, which is going to be interesting. Because red widows do still have the same potency as black widows, they're just not as commonly seen. But the nice thing about them is they're rather docile creatures. They kind of want to just be left alone. So unless they feel actively threatened, they're probably not going to bite you. Alright, so we've got that leg attached, next up the string. And now we can move on to the next one. I'm just kind of checking the curve of my legs here, the curvature. We're going to again just kind of line this up right here. Pin it down. Find my string. Now I don't really want to go over about 55 minutes for this. We will probably do the last couple legs in another video, where we may also do, or we will probably do, another spooky season entity. I have a few ideas. I am going to have to make some more because as many projects as I do have, none of them take very long to actually put together. As we kind of saw with these, the spider takes a little bit longer than the bat, but we're not even halfway through the video and I'm almost halfway through the legs. So. But I have a few things that I can do. I have a cute little ghost pattern, a couple of them actually. I do. Get our string. snip, snip. So these legs have been angled backwards. The next set of legs will be angled more forwards after this one. This one will also be angled more backwards. Now it looks like Firefly, a children's book image of a firefly, which you could probably make this body style into a firefly if you really wanted to. Now, technically, my string at the end here was put on the top here, but to help give it curvature and so that it would all fit on the body, I pulled the string through the leg so that instead of having a pointed tip, it has a fat foot. Now, if you want it to have more like skinny feet, have that pointed leg look, you could just keep the string on the fat end there and attach from that point. But I wanted to swap that. I wanted my spider to have fat feet, and with the body being a little smaller than it probably should be, I wanted to make sure that the legs had smaller attachment points so that they would all fit. We would actually have a spider, not just like an ant or something. Alright, now we can make our knot and hide our string. Try not to attack the camera. And snip, snip. Alright, so the next set of legs is going to be more angled forward. This goal. Let's work on that. I think I was once again wrong. Probably going to be wrong a lot because I don't understand time. But I don't think we're going to actually go over 45 minutes. We're barely at 40 and we only have 3 legs left after this. And these again don't take very long to attach. There's not much to attaching them. Alright. Now we can make our little knot. Hide our little string. And snip, snip. Now we are starting to look a little more Spooder-like as we add more legs. As we angle them properly. Again, this one we're going to angle more forward. Hi, Snickers. Have you come to say hi? Walked in and mooed at me. Because my cats can't make normal noises. No, they have to make weird ones like mooing. That's totally what a cat says. Cat says moo. In case you weren't aware. When I have children, they're going to have such confusion with animals and noises. Because my cat is going to moo at them, and they're going to think that cats go moo. All cats go moo. I wonder if they'll think that cows go meow. Could you imagine a cow meowing? I don't think cows have that kind of vocal range, but I don't have a cow, so I don't know. Maybe one day I'll have a cow. Not maybe. One day I'll have a cow. That day is just not today. There we go. Maybe I'll teach my cow to meow and have the world's first meowing cow. And snip, snip, snip. Thank you. And we're on to our last couple legs. Again, more angled forward, both following the shape of the circle that we're attaching to here and just the general angle that we're putting it at. Hi, Snickers. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't reach you. You're under the desk. Yeah, you are. Are you gonna jump up and get involved? She might. She's thinking about it. She'll probably do that after the video because she takes about 2 to 3 business hours to make a decision. Oh, we're making a decision. Nope, maybe not. She got back down. Alright, so now we can make our little knot here. And hide our string. Snickers is making sure that our video goes over 45 minutes. Do I need to scoot back for you? Is that what you need? She did it. She made it. Alright, last leg. And I now have work around a cat. Give her the kisses, sweetie. Now she's just going to aggressively lick my arm for the next 5 minutes. My string does not want to cooperate with me right now. There we go. Doesn't seem to appreciate when I give her kisses back. And my spider is getting more difficult to hold on to. And going around this final leg here. Alright. And we're at our last stitch here. Gotta, of course, attach to everything else first. And we can now make our little knot. Hide our string. And snip snip. And now we have our Spooder. Spooder does not really stand up very well, but if you really wanted to, you could put little wires in the legs and through the body to kind of make it stand a little better. He is very cute. These are supposed to be fuzzy, but I didn't have fake fur yarn. So I just kind of made do, and that's what they look like. I don't think they turned out too bad. But that is our beginning to spooky season. Nice classics of a bat and a spider. And a cat familiar. And if you like this video, please like the video. If you want more content like this, you can subscribe. I try to post every Sunday. I'll see you guys in the next one.